What's up, guys? Joshua Barr here, King of the Books. Just wanted to thank you guys so much for all the support and all the likes and comments and telling your friends about my channel. I really appreciate it. Anyway, so the girl that you actually see in a lot of the videos who does the skits with me, that's actually my wife. We got married kind of young, but this last week was our 1-year anniversary. And we decided to go to California to sort of celebrate, and we did a road trip through California. So we went to the Redwood Forest and San Francisco, and it was pretty epic. And while I was there, I decided to record a video for you guys. And so this was my first time kind of recording outside. So I wasn't used to recording with the wind, and it was the windiest day that we had been there. And so at the beginning of the video, it's a little tough to hear, but it gets a lot better later on. So for this one, I'm adding subtitles. Make sure that you keep those on, just because sometimes it's a little hard to hear what I say. Anyway, thanks again for the support, and you guys have an awesome day. Oh wait, before I forget, Brittany also has a YouTube channel. She does makeup tutorials and kind of girly stuff. She's super funny. You guys should totally check her out. I'll link it right here for you guys. Enough of my jabber, let's get right into the video. What's up, slackers? I'm here in California filming a special episode for you guys. Today we'll be talking about The Great Gatsby Chapter 6. So at the beginning of this chapter, a young man shows up at Gatsby's door asking Gatsby for a statement. Gatsby asks the young man what the statement's about, and the young man doesn't know what it's about, but he was just sent there to get a statement. Nick speculates that he was sent there because of all the partygoers and all of the rumors that had been spread about Gatsby. Nick also knows about Gatsby that he didn't find out to tell much later. Gatsby had actually changed his name when he was 17 years old. His old name used to be James Gatz. James Gatz, or Gatsby, came from a poor farming family, and Gatsby had always been ashamed of that. When James, or Gatsby, was about 17 years old, he was sitting on a beach at Lake Superior when he first saw his best friend Dan Cody. Dan Cody was an older guy who was chilling on a yacht. When Gatsby saw him, Gatsby knew that he wanted to be like this guy. And so he sort of created his own personality after this guy. Gatsby went around sleeping with a bunch of women and lying to people about what he did for a living. Eventually, Gatsby, faking to be this rich guy, ran out of money and he had to be a janitor at a church. After making some money being a janitor, he went back to the beach where he finally met Dan Cody. Dan Cody sort of took him under his wing. Dan had made his millions in the copper mines. Slowly, as Gatsby and Dan became more and more friends, Dan started to will money for Gatsby. One day, a woman named Ella Kay, who I'm guessing is Dan Cody's wife, showed up on the yacht. Dan Cody had a drinking problem, and after she showed up, he drank himself to death. Gatsby was supposed to receive $25,000 after Dan died, but Ella took everything. All the millions of dollars that Dan had, Ella took it all. The whole thing that Gatsby had told Nick earlier about his family dying and him inheriting money was a total lie. After Nick learned about Gatsby's past, he didn't see Gatsby for a few weeks. He kind of needed to sink it in because Gatsby had lied to him. Nick would spend most of his time in New York City with Jordan. Eventually, Nick decided to go back over to Gatsby's house and talk to him. When Nick went over, he was surprised to see Tom Buchanan there. Tom Buchanan and Gatsby almost seemed like they were friends. Tom invited Gatsby to go horse riding, and Gatsby said that he didn't have a horse because he rode a horse in the war and it reminded him of his old horse. Tom leaves with his guest, and that night, everybody went over to Gatsby's for a party. Daisy comes over to Gatsby's party, and this time Tom comes with her because he's suspicious of her. Tom Buchanan gets to the party. Gatsby introduces Tom as the polo player. He knew that this would aggravate Tom because he was a football player and not a polo player. Start of the party, Gatsby was sort of showing Tom and Daisy everyone who was at the party. After a while, Tom asked Daisy if he could go hang out with some guy who was funny. Daisy knew that he was going to go hit on some girl. The rest of the night, Daisy watched as Tom slowly made moves on this chick. It came time to leave, and Tom said that he thought Gatsby was in the bootlegging business. Daisy objected to this, and Tom said that Gatsby must have struggled to put on such a big party. Tom said that he was going to make it his life's mission to figure out what Gatsby did for a living. Daisy lied to him and said don't bother because he's in the drugstore business. Daisy and Tom left the party, and Gatsby asked Nick to stay so that he could talk to him. After the party sort of died down, Gatsby came up to Nick and said that he felt like Daisy hated the party. Nick sort of lied and said that she had a good time. To be honest, Daisy did have a miserable time because the whole time she was stressed out that her husband was hitting on another woman. Gatsby sort of explains further that he wants things to go back to the old way and that he's going to do anything possible to make it just like how it was 5 years ago. Gatsby sort of wants Daisy to just tell Tom that she's never loved him and just to run off with Gatsby. Nick tells Gatsby that things can't return to the past like they were. Gatsby says, of course you can. Gatsby says that he's going to make everything like how it was. And Gatsby says that she'll see. At the end of the chapter, it does a flashback to when Gatsby and Daisy first kissed. Gatsby had been running around with a lot of women, and when he decided to kiss Daisy, he knew that that would be the last woman he would ever fall for. And that concludes the chapter. Thanks so much for watching Book Cheats. Please leave a like and subscribe. If you'd like to leave a recommendation from an next tide, please leave a comment down below. Have a great day and slack on.
Good job, man.
Thanks.
Yeah.